Hey guys, Miss Gregory. We are working on find the percent of a number. Lesson 2.7 in our workbook, pages 147 to 150. This goes with the math standard for 6th grade, RP for ratio and proportions 1.3C. And make sure you have your supplies. You will need your math workbook for some of the pages, but you will also need notebook paper for some notes that are not in the book. So make sure you have all your supplies before you get started. When you're ready, move on. We're in the workbook on page 147, and for your first task, I want you to pause the video, do this example, complete all of the questions in the blanks, and answer question number 1. So please stop, do this example, come back, and when you're ready, we'll move on. Pause now. Okay, moving on to the next page. Finding the percent of a number. Basically, you need to choose the easiest way for you, and it may depend on the number. You need to change the percent to either a fraction or a decimal. Sometimes the fraction is tricky, so that won't always be nice and clean, but it'll always work if you change the percent to a decimal. Then you're going to multiply it out. Okay? We are in the workbook on page 148. So you can use either fractions or decimals, and then you're going to multiply. So in the example here, you're looking at the circle graph. There are 300 students. You need to find the number of students that choose cheese as a snack. Okay, so we're talking about 15% of the students chose cheese as their favorite snack. So that 15% you could change to a fraction, which they show you in method 1, and they show you all the way down to simplifying it to 3/20. To me, that would be the harder way to solve it, because just moving the decimal over to move the percent to a decimal would be quicker for most of you, but again, you pick your choice which way you want to do it. Method 2 always works. Change the percent to a decimal, which means percent to decimal, you're going to move to the left 2 times, and that would be 1500, 0.15. The of is basically telling you to multiply. We've talked about that clue word before. 15% of 300 students. Change the 15% to a decimal and multiply by 300. You need to make sure you're placing your decimal correctly after you multiply, but the answer would be 45. 45 students have cheese as a snack. You can also represent it with the bar, the tape diagrams, and they show you the example here. You can also go ahead, try the got it, letter A, and we'll pause here, let you try got it A, and then we'll be back to continue taking notes. Alright, we have skipped page 149 because the standard doesn't call for you to know how to do these, although it is a good idea to know. We'll talk about it in class. If you take a look at some of the tips and tricks that I've posted here for dealing with percent, I basically have given you the steps. You need to change the percent to decimal using the pedal method. Then you're going to multiply, and last, place the decimal correctly. Another type of example you might have is when you're in a restaurant, you need to pay tip to the waiter or waitress, so calculating tip is finding the percent of a number. And say your restaurant bill is $36 and you need to calculate a 20% tip. The 20% is changed to 0.20, and since I'm dealing with money, I did not drop the 0 because I want to have 2 decimal places, again, because it's money. I need the cents place. So when I multiply this out, I need to leave a tip of $7.20. That means the total would be $36 plus the tip of $7.20. So the total that I would need to leave is $43.20. Again, please. Okay, so example 5, workbook page 150. 20% of 70 players played soccer. So you are dropping the 0 in this case in the pedal because I don't need 2 decimal places. 14 team members were soccer players. I need you to now pause the video. I want you to stop and do the got it letter E, and then come back and check. Pause now. Okay, come back and check the got it. You can see my step 1, change the 15% to a decimal. Step 2, I multiplied 20 times 0.15, multiplied, and then in step 3 I placed the decimal in the correct spot. So the answer is that 3 members competed in tennis. Okay, when you're done, move to the next page. And we are at the bottom, workbook, page 150, the guided practice. You are now going to do these on your own. You're going to do numbers 1 through 5 in your workbook, showing any steps as necessary. Put your final answers in the blank. And then, of course, I do want you to rate yourself, okay? 1 sentence should be enough to explain number 5, which is how do you find the percent of a number. We will check these answers in class tomorrow. That's all, folks. Good night, Miss Gregory.